don't let me sit here and act like I'm not always trying to stay on top of things for my own personal safety. I've been seeing a lot of content going around lately saying that fentanyl has been found on marijuana in 10 to 12 states recently. So that made me say, fuck, let me warn my people. Let me make sure everybody on point. But then I said, let me do some research because what are these 10 to 12 states? Where are the reports? What can I do to find it out? Now, if we're talking about local mom and pop shops getting busted for dirty shit, I'm not aware of that because that's going to happen on a local level and the people in the vicinity will have that information. But when I see all these viral posts going around on different social media platforms, I realize no one's linking the cases, no one's linking the websites for the resources so that the information can be shared. I notice it's just people yapping. And the same way when they started the smear campaign on marijuana in the first place, they demonized it and did everything in their power to get everybody to turn away from it. There seems to be a new campaign going on. Now, I'm not going to say that it's real or not real, but what I will do is just do a little bit of research and I'll link the websites I'm getting this information from below. So, myth busting fentanyl in cannabis. This is as of May 22nd, 2024. It's not that long ago. Myth busting fentanyl in cannabis. And I'm reading this one from May 22nd, 2024 because I was searching and couldn't find anything recent in 2025 to affirm or confirm that there's fentanyl being found in 10 to 12 states. That seems like it would be some type of news, but I can't find it. Over the past decade, fentanyl has been a primary driver of opioid overdose deaths across the United States. Fentanyl is a highly potent synthetic or lab-made opioid. Medical fentanyl is the preferred opioid pain medication in medical settings due to its effectiveness and standardized safety precautions. Conversely, illicitly manufactured fentanyl has no safety precautions in place. Illicit fentanyl is often mixed with other drugs in unknown concentrations, increasing the risk of fatal overdose. There have been rising concerns about fentanyl-laced cannabis in the media and across communities in the United States. However, most of these concerns are unfounded. According to New York State Office of Cannabis Management, there has never been a verified case of fentanyl-contaminated cannabis, and that was 2023. However, the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Supports, OASAS, reports that there has been one lab-confirmed case of cannabis with fentanyl in 2021. It was determined that this case was a result of cross-contamination and likely not a deliberate effort to add fentanyl to the cannabis supply. That's 2023. National agencies such as the United States Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA, have not released any formal statements confirming the risk of fentanyl exposure through marijuana. SAMHSA's National Survey on Drug Use and Health, NSDUH, for 2021 and 2022 does not include any reports of fentanyl exposure from cannabis and instead highlights the risk of fentanyl being sold as heroin or fake prescription pills. Additionally, the DEA's 2024 National Drug Threat Assessment does not identify fentanyl-laced cannabis as a public health threat. U.S. Department of Justice 2024. Rather, the report highlights that fentanyl is more often mixed with drugs like cocaine, methamphetamines, xylene, and other opioids. These reports may be a relief to some, but many communities and news sources still believe that the marijuana supply is being contaminated with fentanyl. Notably, if fentanyl were contaminating the cannabis supply, the ways in which individuals typically use marijuana would eliminate most of the risk for fentanyl exposure. Circa Austin 2023, Warnell 2023, Zagorski 2021. For example, fentanyl is destroyed when it is burned or exposed to a direct flame. Therefore, smoking marijuana laced with fentanyl would not present a risk for an opioid overdose. Circa Austin 2023, Warnell 2023, Zagorski 2021. Exposing fentanyl to direct flame is too hot and destroys the drug, but vape pen temperatures are too low to effectively vaporize fentanyl. As per Austin 2023, Zagorski 2021. Another common way to ingest cannabis is through baking it into foods, creating edibles. If for some reason fentanyl were added to edibles, the liver would need to break down the food first. This process is slow, and the body would gradually break down the contents of the food for a lower exposure over time. After being broken down by the liver, the likelihood that any fentanyl would reach the brain opioid receptors is very low. Circa Awesome 2023, Zagorski 2021. This concern around fentanyl and cannabis, although warranted, further perpetuates shame and stigma around substance use. OASAS circa 2023. According to the National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics, NCDAS, 45% of Americans report trying marijuana at least once. Although no substance use comes without risk, perpetuating false concerns about fentanyl contaminating marijuana may create feelings of mistrust between the community and healthcare professionals. Being national leaders in health information, it is important that the DEA and SAMHSA release reports on the risk of fentanyl exposure through marijuana use, no matter how minimal. It is vital to have open and honest dialogue about drug user health between the community and organizations working to address substance use disorders so that individuals understand the risks associated with health behaviors. If you use drugs, it is important to test your supply every time you use. You can actually order a free fentanyl and xylene test strips, as well as life-saving naloxone, Narcan, and more. I will link it below. Do your own research. So to all you content creators that are making viral content on TikTok and IG and Snapchat, and you're literally saying that 10 to 12 states have now confirmed the fentanyl and the marijuana, I want you to produce the reports, link it, and let us do the research. Because I'm not sure who the fuck y'all work for, pardon my language. But I'm not sure who the fuck y'all work for, but I don't trust y'all. Because every time some new shit comes up to cause us to have a visceral response, my number one question is, who could potentially financially benefit from this occurring? Do your own research. At this point, the term conspiracy theory is like a badge of honor. If I'm a conspiracy theorist, thank you, God, because all the conspiracies that I've been studying and reading for 20 plus fucking years have about 100% turned out to be true. So let's go down the rabbit hole. Let's actually be diligent, vigilant, and critical thinkers. Or don't, or don't, or don't.